was actually the exact timing. Everything's happening all at once. It's so tough. Oh my goodness, what an episode here. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the DNVR Nuggets podcast.
Let's go.
As always, by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Use promo code DNVR whenever you sign up. Wait, next year, do you think we'll have on the DraftKings Sportsbook app, or who is Mr. Nugget?
We better?
Well, but we better not, because you don't lose the title.
Yeah, a one and done Mr. Nugget is
here.
not.
Well, I mean, if there is a title to be appointed, there should be odds on it.
Yeah, we're 5 seconds in. 5 seconds in.
We don't know what it's going to be. We don't know what it's going to be.
You son of a...
I suck at this. We got a lot of things to get through today. Big mysteries abound. Also, just coming through the wire right now, Jokic, player of the month.
Graphic padding. He's graphic
He
padding.
is graphic padding. He's accolade padding. He was player of the month in January, was he not?
Probably.
No, he was. Remember him and Joel Embiid?
I don't
He is
remember.
player of the month in February, was he not?
Was he? I don't know.
It just came across the wire.
Oh, for February? Yeah.
Wind, are you here?
I'm sorry, man. This mic's messed up again. Whoever sits in this seat on the show before us is ridiculous.
Wow.
I
This
feel like I'm
show
the only
is
one
a
who deals with this.
disaster so far.
It's like nobody can fix it. Every day.
Anyway, he is player of the month for January and February. That is 2 out of the 4 months so far. He has half of the player of the month awards. Player of the year?
You could argue.
I mean, he's
math.
literally
That's
been
math.
the player of the month every month this year. So I think
That's true. Of
there's literally
2023?
there are no other candidates for player of the year Western Conference.
Man, that would be incredible if he swept 2023. That would include a FIBA World Cup, which, by the way,
I'm ready to give it to him.
Huh?
I'm ready to give it to him.
You're ready to give it to him for that one. Guys, we're going to get to Mr. Nugget stuff. We're going to talk. We were at practice today. There's a couple interesting things that came from practice. One of the last practices of the year. I'll go ahead and spoil one piece of news. No leak. The leak has been fixed.
League has been
hell
fixed.
yeah,
They
dude.
were able to practice on a full court.
It was a full court practice today.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable.
Reggie
One
Jackson's
full
first
court.
full court practice as a Nugget.
And so we'll get into all of that stuff. I got Brendan Vogt over here.
It's a great day. It's a great vibe. Most people know why. For those who don't, for those who are confused, stay tuned, baby. But I think the real ones, the diehards, they've got a good feeling why we're gathered around here today.
Yeah, for a podcast. Over here, I got D-Line.
Yeah.
I'm
Like it's
here
2
because it's. I would say my job, but I definitely don't get paid for this show.
You kind of do, though.
Do I?
Then over here, we got Harrison Wind.
What's up, fellas?
Everybody does.
Another show with the fellas.
I bet if I stopped doing the show, I would be paid $0 less.
$0 less. But if we
I'm
all,
ready.
if we all stopped doing the show, you would be paid
Oh, yeah.
less.
We're talking about what I get.
I'm just saying, this is semantics.
No, it's not.
All right, we got all of us here. So I want to talk about Mr. Nugget for some of the people that are not new. I will say this: when you've been researching Mr. Nugget, and one of the cool things about it is this is a thing that's been around now for, I don't know, 5-6 years, in some capacity, 4 or 5 years, whatever it's been. And now it's like a part of the it's just a
lexicon.
part of the cycle. Like, honestly,
yeah.
it's not going anywhere. And that's what I think is cool. It's not just us using it. Everybody uses it. It's everybody's term.
Yeah, and it's a part of the Nuggets now. It's a part of this organization, the franchise. Gary Harris was the original Mr. Nugget.
Yeah.
In 2020, I think that's when we launched that. And then when
I mean, it is, but I think we talked about it before. I don't know.
no, we didn't.
I think it was like a phrase or something.
Yeah, I
that
used it. I
yeah.
used it on a show trying to figure out how to describe
Right.
the Gary connection to
Yeah,
the
it's like
fans.
it's like
in
they're being-
2020.
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
they're being Mr. Basketball of every state.
Sure,
Like
yeah.
there's
Mystery.
an idea of somebody that really has control of the unspoken part of the connection between Nuggets and fans.
That's such a good way to put it.
It's like a conduit. The top level talent, they can't be the Mr. Nugget because they're the MVP. They are
Right.
They have loftier things that they have to shoulder, but this is like our in to the Nuggets. It's
Yeah.
like the guy that represents like not just what happens on the court, but like the guy that you look at and you're like, man, I like that guy's vibe. Like
Vibe is
his
very
is
important.
so Nuggets.
Eric, you have to be a Nuggets fan to understand why that player means so much to the fan base, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
even at the peak of Gary's success, even the Kawhi Leonard comparisons and all of that, if an outsider looked at Gary Harris, and they would be wrong about why he meant so much to Nuggets fans, but anyone who followed this team or followed this show
that's great.
would know exactly what you mean.
There's a little bit of fan favorite. There's a little bit of a like buy-in level. There's a little bit of like, do they connect pieces together? And then I think this is an important quality, although it can be absent, but I do think it helps out a lot. Connecting with the city is a part of
Yes.
it. Like,
It's massive.
You have to rep the city.
we have small market energy. We're not gonna get
Our
ourselves.
energy is so small market.
It's so small
And
market.
shrinking by the day.
I mean, it is true in that there's like Colorado is this really, really dope state. Denver's a very cool city, and the Nuggets are an awesome team, and nobody outside of those borders care. So then it becomes like when a player comes into it, and they don't have to be like all Colorado. I got a Colorado flag draped around me at all times. You know,
I mean, that would help, though.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
it's not a bad
for
idea.
future
Little
campaigners.
tattoo,
Pandering-
neck tat of Colorado. You're like,
Pandering
oh, yeah.
accepted.
Pandering is welcome. Honestly, a little bit of
Encouraged,
pandering is
yeah.
important. But I do think that there is an element of that as well, of like, hey, man, I understand what you guys must be feeling. Like, I'm here. I wanted to ask Bruce this today. We had a bit of a shorter scrum, but I was wondering, like, he was in Brooklyn. Just how is it different? Does he feel different as a role player and how those teams are covered and discussed and this or that? Be an interesting one. But players that win Mr. Nugget, I think, sort of embraced that. We saw that. Let's talk about Gary Harris. He was the original. Part of what made Gary Harris Mr. Nugget was he was the first guy in. Literal first guy in of this era. This era, whatever you want to call it. We don't call it the Gary Harris era. But he was the first one to be a part of it. Then Will Barton came, after that. Michael Malone was here when Gary Harris was... No, actually, he was before Gary Harris. He played 1 year with Brian Shaw. So I think that was a big part of it. But also... he represents Denver in that he was an underdog. Nobody thought he was going to be a 20-point-per-game scorer. None of that. And then he became that. That was a big part of his reign as Mr. Nugget.
And he was the first one here. He was also the first one to form that chemistry with Nikola Jokic.
Yep.
And that was a big part of Gary Harris's rise. And with Gary, you just felt the teamness aspect of Mr. Nugget with him. I mean, Gary was all about the team. Never got too high or too low after wins and losses. Just the consummate role player, like the glue that held that team in those early Jokic years together.
And one of the first guys to kind of figure out, outside of stardom, how to play alongside Jokic, maximize. I mean, Gary's one of the fathers of Jokic ball. Those backdoor cuts, some of the first two-man games, kind of action, any of that was with Gary and Jokic. So, and then keep in mind that Gary is, of course, famously I think still, right, the only Nugget to go to Serbia?
He's the only Nugget to go to Sombor.
To go to Sombor, right.
Wait a minute,
So
are we Mr. Nugget?
Wait, are we Mr. Nugget?
I think about the kind
Actually,
of...
you're right. That was a big deal, man. Especially now
huge
having
deal.
us go. Like the fact that think about Gary in Sombor.
It's an insane...
It's actually really weird.
It's an
to
insane
think about.
feather in his cap.
It's actually crazy.
It's
actually
wild.
knowing what Sombor is like now.
and also like Yoke meeting up with him. Like
Yeah.
Well,
You
that
know what I
part
mean?
that part we cannot relate to in any
In
way.
any way
that
at all.
Didn't happen. But there's something about the way a fan base and an online fan base can rally around a guy, the type of stuff we like to propagate, the merch we like to make. You think back to one of the first kind of versions of that with these Nuggets, the Garrison, right? Like all the way back to
love that.
the online kind of secret club thing,
Totally.
You just, when you see another member, you tip
guys
your
are on
hat.
fire today.
Gary was one of the first guys that we and you guys, because I wasn't even here yet, built some of that around. And so, again, it's one of those things. I think if an outsider's listening, they're confused right now. But
They have no idea what's going on.
The everydayers are sitting there nodding their heads.
The Garrison, was that our second shirt, Eric? Because we did PFM was our first one.
PFM was the
Paul
first
Millsap,
one.
Paul freaking Millsap. I think Garrison might have been.
Yeah, it might have
two.
been. It might have been. I can't remember.
But at least it was our second like team or player specific one or what have you. And I like the Garrison. It's like this idea.
It's
of,
dope.
like,
I love it.
You're an army for these people.
Yeah, so we kind of thought about this as we're starting to. Now that this is an official thing, this is an actual office that can be held. There are 3 pillars of what it is to be.
I didn't know
Mr.
this.
Nugget. Yes, it is teamness. It is culture.
What are you
and it
reading?
is
wondering
vibes.
where this was coming
What are you
from.
reading
And
off
I'm
of
like,
that?
oh,
This
I got
is
it.
very serious.
Yeah.
I don't
Teamness,
appreciate the
teamness,
talking over
culture
there.
and vibes. If you occupy all 3 of those, then you can.
You're eligible.
You are eligible for the prestigious in the sacred order of Mr. Nugget.
Let's go to the next Mr. Nugget, though.
Oh.
So you have Gary.
I miss him.
The most recent one, Monte Morris. Another guy, like, there's this cool thing about Monte in that he's a second-round pick. Denver took a chance on. He went through every rank. He went to the G League. Then he came off the bench. He did all. Then he was a starter for a while. He did all of the little steps. A guy that presumably or seemingly has no beef with anybody on the team. Like, just everybody looked at Monte as their best friend. Yeah. It was beefless. By the way, we found out another person on the team's vegan. We'll talk about that later today.
Mike,
the answer might surprise you.
It was very surprising.
It's actually extremely
It's actually
surprising.
a shock.
But Monte, man, like he was another like perfect Mr. Nugget, just a connector.
Yeah.
Great vibe. You talk about vibes, man. That guy was a vibes master.
I mean, the thing about Monte is he was the Pied Piper of the Nuggets, and that's a
He lured the
He
children.
lured
into
the children into the sea.
Oh, shut up. He was like the front man for Denver.
Right.
If the Nuggets signed a player, if they traded for a player, Monte Morris was always the guy
Wind.
to first reach out with a text. He knew everybody in the NBA. Everybody knew him. He was like the liaison for the Nuggets, and that was like a really cool thing. And also, Monte repped Denver a ton, man.
Still does,
Like,
even.
He still does. He'd go to Rockies games. He'd go to Avs games.
Yeah, he brought what was that girl's Amber Rose?
Yes, that's the one. He just repped the city. He loved being here, and I feel like tried to make the Nuggets in Denver cool.
Yeah.
And I feel like he
Better luck next
kind
time.
of did.
I'm with Eric. Better luck next time. But I mean, he was. And the other thing is very aware of the Mr. Nugget Award, which I think is also cool.
Yeah.
You know, like
Dude, I love it. That is amazing. As many stupid things as we put out into the world, like Mr. Nugget is like cool. It's like this idea that it actually makes it to the level of the team, and like it actually is like a, I mean, it's like when you just create an award and you name it after yourself. It's like the Goaties or something, for example.
yeah.
But like this is like a real, like, I don't know, like I think it'd be kind of cool if you have an entire podcast that just like is focused on your every move, and like they recognize you as the guy that's like
The thing is, and we've talking about this. By the way, me and Eric are going to be doing the Denver Sports Podcast at 4:00. So if you're not sick of us talking by then, you can tune in by then. But one of the things is about like how to tell the story of the various different types of sports, and one of them is the NBA's gotten reduced down to the singular guy, and there's like 3 guys we can talk about, and nobody else. And then you have to talk about the greatness of them and everybody. This like Mr. Nugget is a nod to the idea that there's other things to talk about and other players to talk about. This is Jokic's team. There's Murray. There's all this stuff, but it's like no, but there's also Mr. Nugget, the guy that like means something else that's equally as great in some capacities, but is separate. And that's why I think it's kind of cool.
And everyone loved Monte. He had the highest approval rating in the fan base that I've seen. I think Wynn made the best Monte point, though. If there was a new Nugget, Monte reached out to him right away.
Yep.
And like in that way, he was an ambassador, not just a conduit to the fandom, but an actual ambassador of that team to incomers. Yeah. And even still to this day, tweeting about the Nuggets, about Nuggets players, he still has some of his heart, I think, here, in my opinion. So once Mr. Nugget, always Mr. Nugget.
There's also moments, the game winner versus OKC, Gary Harris, a very Mr. Nugget-esque moment.
Yeah.
You had Monte Morris, the Mr. Nugget, the win over the Warriors, the game winner. I mean, that was clearly one. I feel like it's not a requirement, but it certainly is a thing where it's like, no, man, you were integral. I don't know that you can have can you have a Mr. Nugget that's a 12th man?
Yeah, sure.
Stay tuned.
Sure. You definitely can. I mean, you could, for sure.
For sure. Yeah,
Do you think you could have a Mr. Nugget?
Dude,
for sure.
Teamness, vibes, culture does
definitely
not have
could.
anything to do with.
So I'm trying to think of who the Nuggets' 12th man. Like a Jeff Green, in theory. I mean, it's hard because it's him, but DeAndre Jordan this year could have been a Mr. Nugget. Do you agree?
I don't think playing time I think
Could Mike Miller have been Mr. Nugget in
he wanted to be.
2017?
definitely, man. Yeah,
wanted to
playing
be.
time is not. I don't
All
think
right.
too high in the pecking order. Of
I don't think it's
Mr.
actually
Nugget
important at all.
characteristics.
I think there's a candidate right now. We have not yet to name it. And there's a candidate who has a strong case despite maybe less playing time than some of the
Let's hear
other
it.
names that have come in the past. Flacco.
But Flacco might be the 9th man, though, now.
At this point, yes. But, look, between starting at the end of the bench and really not playing for most of his tenure, I think he's the best example of kind of what you're getting at. Of like, yeah, maybe you can be that without necessarily being essential to the on-the-floor success.
The thing about Vlatko is we never talked about him as a potential Mr. Nugget 2 years ago.
I agree with that.
Even last year, not really.
You're right.
But this year,
You're right.
he's a piece of the rotation, and it's like, hey, man, he be.
But do you also
Mr. Nugget?
realize how absolutely important he is? He is truly, truly a glue guy on and off the court. Like, he is Nikola Jokic's one of his best friends. He is a person that he's self-deprecating. He's the one that like he'll talk about the troubles of the bench. He'll boost up the success of the starters. Like he is. There's something like really strong about his case.
Do you know what's interesting about Vlatko? There was a real turning point in his sort of like Q score amongst the fan base. Do you know what it was? It wasn't.
Playing?
No. I don't think
It was this year when he called out everybody for calling out the bench. And he was like, we hear that and we're pissed off
No,
about it.
I'm just saying where like Vlatko went from being this guy that was Jokic's friend and like, why is he on the team? He got the extension this summer, and there are a lot of people that were like,
No, are you talking about his,
Well, when
his big
Jokic
dunk?
No.
when Jokic himself said it
All
too,
right, I
but it's
guess
the half court shot you're thinking.
No,
of,
no,
right?
no. Actually, what I'm thinking of is
Okay,
when
tell
Aaron
us.
Gordon went out to Europe and revealed that he's chalky just casually. Because, I think there was this perception of he was Jokic's guy, and then what was his relation to everyone else? When he became chalky, or when it was revealed that he's chalky, you're like, oh, yeah, he's everybody's chalky. Like,
Yeah.
that's so I just felt that was kind of a like, oh, yeah. And then obviously him playing a lot more. Let's just talk quickly about all the candidates here. You mentioned Vlatko. Who else a candidate this year?
Bruce Brown.
No questions asked.
I mean, Bruce Brown last night showing up to an Avs game on the eve of the Mr. Nugget reveal.
Check.
It was a noble play by him. I mean, definitely noted, I think, by us.
Yeah, Bruce Brown is a guy that he actually fits every single qualification. Like he is not very outspoken. He is very he's really worked himself into the team itself. It's like
He's totally embraced Denver,
he has
too.
embraced Denver in a way that I like. It's a little jarring, actually.
He's more Denver than I am.
He's
to be
way
honest.
more Denver than I am. Yeah, he shows up at Avalanche games. He
Goes to the stock show.
yeah, man, like it's pretty wild actually. Like Bruce Brown, like if he didn't know about this competition, I would be like I don't know, man. Like he's like doing some things you're like, does he know?
Right. Like he is pulling out everything from the Mr. Nugget playbook. You know?
And remember where he comes from, right? That Brooklyn Nets team that was representative of maybe the opposite of everything we've loved about these first Nuggets teams. And I wondered what that adjustment would be like. He won't let you finish the question. He likes this more. He likes this more. He likes Colorado more. He likes being a Denver Nugget more.
Yeah.
And right from the jump, I think he was doing and saying a lot of the things you want to hear. And well, I do think Bruce might pander here or there. I think it's organic, and I think he's a great candidate.
What's Aaron Gordon's case?
Aaron Gordon's case is that he fills a lot of the same role that Gary Harris did, in that he's a starter, but he's not the focal point of the starting unit. He is the ultimate glue guy. He brings something larger to the team without it just being his actual play on the court, even though that is substantial. He's the only one that we know that has traveled to Europe to see Jokic play. He is that's like the ultimate vibes gentleman. Like that man, I would be surprised if he wasn't actually paid in vibes.
Crypto vibes.
Hold on,
Crypto
real
fuck.
quick. Somebody in here when we were talking about Bruce Brown said he was stat padding Mr. Nugget.
I think that's correct. Yeah. He really is.
Getting one last one in at the end.
Sorry, Wynn. Go ahead though about AG.
Yeah, I mean, just like Aaron Gordon's teamness. I mean, buying into your role is such an important part of Mr. Nugget.
Man,
and
that's a
he
good one.
has bought into his role from day one since he got here.
Yeah.
You know, he came from Orlando where he was a top option every night, and here he's doing exactly what the Nuggets need him to do to win a championship.
Yeah.
Like that's a lot of Mr. Nugget points.
Yes. And also, then let's also make the case for KCP.
Okay.
KCP,
Perfect fit.
very similar role to Gary Harris.
Yeah.
He is
Yeah.
absolute 3-and-D. No one has slid in more seam. This is his first year here, and you would think that he'd been here for as long
So
as
true,
anybody else in the Denver Nuggets. Like that is a guy that is so like just to say that his fit is perfect is to diminish.
Low maintenance.
To say that his vibes are perfect is diminishing. Like to say his culture. I mean, the man gets it. Like, and you would expect somebody, especially him. He's coming from the Lakers. He's coming from other big market teams where he actually fit in perfectly. And I thought there would be a little bit of a culture clash for that reason. Like, it's perfect, dude. He is fully nuggified.
I know what you're gonna say.
And if you remember, I mean, the first quote KCP ever had,
stat padded right out the gate.
he was trying to get in on the Mr. Nugget conversation early. His first quote as a Nugget was how Denver would have beaten the Lakers in that playoff series in the bubble if Anthony Davis did not make that shot.
He went right for the triple double. Right away,
right in.
for it. Oh man, that was an ape, and it's been smooth sailing ever since.
It really has.
Take notes.
Yeah.
Take notes. You know what? I want to throw one guy a bone. I don't really think this is how this award works, at least not in my head. But I feel like we could talk about it a little bit. How about Michael Malone? How about Michael Malone?
That's Coach Nugget.
Can a coach win Mr.
I'm going to
Nugget?
say
that's
no.
Coach
I'm going to say
Nugget.
no.
Your team's got to be down so bad for your coach to win Mr. Nugget.
I'm going to say no.
Steven Silas might be Mr. Rocket. Like, that's how bad you got to be down.
It's been so bad over there, that might not even be true. But no, I think, look, I don't think it is, but I just want to throw it a bone. He's first ballot, I think, right now in front of the first team, I should say, in front of the mic. All the coaches in the league, but definitely all the Nuggets. He's passionate about the core members of this team. And the relationship building with Jamal and Jokic has been essential to building this culture and this foundation of success. And he's one of the longest tenured head coaches in the league, and he's doing it here with the Denver Nuggets. We call it the Jokic era, all these things. That's what it is. But as you think about all the moving planks of wood, right, that have been in and out, Malone's been here the whole time. And he's been a voice and a face of it. So it's not him, but I actually thought he kind of was a fun wrinkle in this.
I like it. All right, it's time
Tell
to
him next time
reveal.
that he's the fun
There's
wrinkle.
another guy we should probably just mention.
Yeah.
I mean, Bones Hyland.
He was going.
Bones Hyland
Let's
was...
talk
hit the
about
inside
him. We'll do
track.
it. That's going to take too long. Let's get to him a little bit later. It's time to reveal the answer
Oh boy. Let's.
right after this break.
You didn't just do that.
Backus and Schenker, they win for Colorado
Backus and
families.
It's Backus and Schenker.
They help those who are seriously injured in Colorado for more than 25 years. You also don't pay them any money until they win your case. No fees while they work on your case. No fees until they win your case. They've won over $1 billion for their clients. Give them a call today. 222-2222. Backus and Schenker helps with all kinds of injury cases where you weren't at fault. Car accidents, motorcycle, rideshare, pedestrian trucks. They even help you if you're injured at work. Again, 222-2222. Find out if you have a case for free. Backus and Schenker wins. Also at Illegal Pete's. Look, we love Illegal Pete's.
Oh my God.
This March, donate by drinking.
Wow.
D-line.
Wait, what?
It's as easy as that. Illegal Pete's is teaming up with Tito's and Denver's Youth on
So
Record
generous.
program to help raise money for the future musicians of Colorado. Youth on Record provides underprivileged children in Denver community with music-based strengths and skills that will give them the platform they need to accomplish their dreams. So for the entire month of March, Illegal Pete's is donating $1 to Youth on Record for every vodka fresh press sold. Stop by one of Legal Pete's 10 Colorado locations. Order one of those up. You know the money is going to a good cause. Illegal Pete's.
There you go. All right, guys, ladies and gentlemen,
Oh
it's
boy.
time to reveal
Oh my God. I'm nervous. I don't even know who this is.
the new Mr. Nugget. Drum roll.
AG is Mr. Nugget.
Mr. Nugget. Look at that beautiful graphic,
Oh, man.
Beautiful graphic. I'm going to say this. When we talk about players being aware of it, this or that, I was talking to somebody in the front office the other day, not long ago, a couple of days, and was like, hey, I think we're going to, an AG, I think we're going to announce him Mr. Nugget. He said, man, I knew he was going to win it. Which cracks me up. I just like
Front office probably had a pool going.
a little conversation about, hey, who's going to be Mr. Nugget?
Maybe
man?
that's why they traded. Never mind. Joke. That's a joke.
Honestly, it's very well deserved, man. It's very well deserved.
Yeah.
He's been incredible. Aaron Gordon is going to go down as a Nugget. I mean, we talked, remember when KCP the other day, where I was like, man,
This
I hope
is
he
the
goes
take.
down as a Nugget. Aaron Gordon is going to go down as a Nugget. And I love, somebody talked about, Jamal Murray is 11 threes away. He's going to be the all-time three-point leader and hopefully hold that title for a long time, but he'll be that in Nuggets history. His jersey is going to get retired. I don't know if Aaron Gordon's will get retired, but I think he's going to be a guy. When you start listing off your favorite Nuggets, I think he's going to be a guy that pops up more frequently than people might anticipate, where you're like, yeah, man, that era was great. And he's like a definitive name that you mention when you talk about this general era.
Because he found the best version of himself as a basketball player in Denver. And what's fun about AG is he existed outside of the Denver universe, right? Like a maybe long misunderstood, but also like a relatively high profile guy. I remember him at Arizona. I remember people trying to figure out how this would work in Orlando. And Wynn mentioned, the way he's been willing to fit in. And I would take it a step further and think we've actually learned this is his preference. Right. This is not AG adjusting. This is AG finally being able to be AG. Right. And it's happening here in Denver. The Jokicification, the education of Aaron Gordon, shoring up the mental health, finding himself smiling as much as ever, enjoying basketball as much as ever, as efficient as he's ever been. This guy is, I think, rounding into himself, growing into himself as an athlete. And that part of it happened here in Denver in front of our eyes. And to me, that's been maybe my favorite part of the Aaron Gordon thing is Nuggets fans can go, this evolution was a Denver thing. And he shared it with us. And this experience belongs to us.
Yeah. Nikola Jokic pretty much named Aaron Gordon Mr.
totally
Nugget
did.
earlier this season when he called him the soul of this team. That's like nothing to gloss over,
That's
man.
huge.
That was a big time quote, and it's true because the Nuggets just have a different feel, different swagger, different vibe when Aaron Gordon's on the court.
Right.
They just play with a different energy, and it's because, man, he's just willing to do whatever it takes to win. He's willing to guard Damian Lillard if that's what the Nuggets require him to do. He's willing to dive on the floor for loose balls, but he can also totally blow the roof off an arena with a dunk. He's an awesome player. He's also a really just real person.
Yeah.
He's a down-to-earth dude. He's a real guy. And for me, I think when he went to Prague and saw Jokic play in Eurobasket and gave the Serbian three-finger salute.
Oh, I'm so glad you included that.
And was just there because he wanted to be there. He didn't have to be there. He showed up. He surprised Jokic. He was there for his teammate. And, that was huge, I thought. He's going to be a great Mr. Nugget, I feel like.
Another one like that, Wind. How about the Denver Pro-Am? How about a local event that Aaron Gordon shows out, supports, plays in?
And it wasn't covered. This is the thing is he did it. That's how pure and organic it is.
Right, right, exactly, right. Aaron Gordon just showed up to hoop at the Denver Pro-Am. And, it's kind of a sore subject, but this is one of the things we initially loved about Bones. I think the relationship between fandom and these players is drying up over the years. It's harder and harder for that to become organic, soulful. These two parties are relating to each other less and less, seeing less and less of each other.
Yeah.
The way Aaron Gordon has been outside, the way he's been a part of Denver is a really cool thing. And I think something I hope we get to see more of, because what's at the essence of that is what I think Nuggets fans have liked the most about this era of the team. Is it feels like it's our team.
Right. Eric, before I throw to you, we got a new shirt commemorating this special moment. We drop, there it is, right there on the screen. Look at this,
Wow.
Mr. Nugget, our first ever Mr. Nugget shirt.
The mayor of Chopper Circle, the soul of the team, the sacred order of Mr. Nugget, Gary, Monte, Aaron. And then we got the official seal of the
Look at
office
this new
of
seal.
Mr. Nugget.
great seal.
Teamness, culture, vibes. Mr. Nugget. This is it.
What I love, all the shirts are are badass. This one is especially niche.
This is official.
This is the nichiest thing we've ever made.
This is the most you see somebody wearing this one, you're like, not only is this guy, you see somebody wearing any DNVR shirt, you can assume there's a relative level of diehardness to them. But this one is like, oh, you're the core
Yeah,
diehard.
dude. Oh, yeah. Wolf, yeah.
You see this one in the wild, like, say hello to that person because you're going to be their best
You
friend.
should establish. We should
Yeah.
establish a secret Mr. Nugget grading
that's so true.
that you can do between. You have to. It has to be like ding, like a pickaxe. or
Wow,
something.
yeah, I don't know about that
I
one.
didn't think about it. I didn't think about it.
Wow, what a cool thing we can start doing.
Yeah. No, but truly, I mean, this is the secret knock. This
Bring it
shirt-
back up, Kale. Check this thing out. man.
Yeah. The sacred order of Mr. Nugget shall be maintained. And I'll say this now, we've talked about, well, first off, the one thing that I like the most about Aaron Gordon is that when he proudly and almost tearily proclaimed that this is his favorite team he's ever played on at any level.
Yes.
Like, I was like, oh my God. I mean, there's, Bruce Brown's at the Avalanche, but Jokic saying that he's the soul of the team and this is like, I mean, there's just so many things. And
Yep.
doubtful he was campaigning. We don't know. We don't know what.
No, he was too cool to campaign.
It's so
man.
true.
He's not about that.
I'm telling you, man, it's so cool. You know what I love about all your shirts, Eric, and I know it's intentional. They all feel like a shirt that will come back to 20 years down the line. Like, don't throw these out.
Yeah.
You wear them out and stuff. Like, don't throw them out. Put them in a box. Put them in the attic. Put them in the basement, wherever it is, because it's like, if you go through your dad's old stuff, or you've got Dale Earnhardt shirt or something.
The Intimidator.
Yeah, Intimidator.
Mr. Nugget.
Yeah, you find an old shirt from you're like, man, this is actually retro cool now. You used to wear this one in high school. Like,
all of my
whatever.
dad's sports shirts that I own now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're like, cool. That's what all of these are. So as they age and they get out of your rotation, put them aside. They'll be back in style
Hell
as
yeah.
this like tattered thing in 20
Hell
years.
It represents a moment in time,
Yeah, it totally does. Mr. Nugget.
And I love that we did this because briefly some people said maybe this team doesn't have a Mr. Nugget. So many good candidates, so many good players. It is my hope that whatever team finally does get over the hump has an easy answer. Because again, it's what we were just talking about. It shouldn't just be a group of athletes came in, rented a zip code, won a title, and left. The fans should feel like it belongs to them. And to me, the Mr. Nugget thing is this two-way street. That's the best of fandom.
I love it. Aaron Gordon's going to be a great Mr. Nugget. Now, here's the one thing, and I don't want people to freak out. This is the nature of the business. Gary Harris was Mr. Nugget for 2 seasons.
Oh God.
Ironically traded for Aaron Gordon.
Monte Morris was Mr. Nugget for 2 seasons. This begins. He's named Mr. Nugget today, but he was Mr. Nugget for this entire season. Like, it retroactively applies
Yeah,
to
it's like when
to
you
this
have
era.
the inauguration a couple months after the election.
Sure, it's like that. It's like that. In this case, it's a couple months before, but nonetheless, like he is. But I hope that he exists for a long time. Honestly, he has a chance for me. I don't think he's going anywhere. AG is like a guy that I would not be surprised if he was just a mainstay
Of Chopper
with
Circle,
Denver.
the mayor of Chopper
Absolutely.
Circle.
I feel really good about it. Caught up with him. By the way, again, same thing. He's aware of the Mr. Nugget title and got to talk to him today down
course.
at Ball Arena. We made a short little interview for you. You can check it out. All right, we're here with Aaron Gordon, AG, Mr. Nugget, a.k.a. Mr. Nugget 2023. So I just want to start with, you've been in Colorado now for 3 years. What are your general impressions, now that you've lived here for a little bit, about the state of Colorado City, Denver?
I like it. Easygoing people are sharp, they're quick. There's a lot to do here, a lot of sights to see, good eats, and just overall good vibe.
What's the most Colorado thing you've done? Are you hiking?
Probably went to Vail.
Yeah?
Probably went to Vail and then kind of just spent a couple of days in Vail in the snow and the mountains.
Yeah. You going to take up snowboarding?
Not until I'm done with my career.
There you go. What's it mean? I mean, so Mr. Nugget is all about being a good teammate. What does it mean to be a good teammate?
We got a lot of good teammates on this team. Anybody could have got Mr. Nugget on this team.
Yeah.
We got a high character locker room, and I'm just glad that the fans voted for me. But really could have gone to anybody.
I love that. And you said this is your favorite team you've ever been on. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm guessing this has a bit to do with it, but is it play style? Is it the personality of the team? Like, what are all the things that go into that?
All of that, the personality. We got some big personalities, some funny guys on this team, great ball players, and just like really focused individuals.
Yeah. So you got 140 something dunks, I think, this year, career high. So is this a thing like you thought about the dunk total? Is this like a thing you're like, hey, I'm gonna have an opportunity for this, I need to put an emphasis, or it just happened?
No, I just happened. I mean, my teammates are finding me. The offense is equal opportunity, and just sticking to my strong suit.
Yeah. What do you think the team needs to do now? 20 games left before the playoffs to be ready
Just
for it.
continue to develop good standards, good habits, and build a winning mentality, a playoff mentality.
Yeah, mentally preparing for the playoffs. Like what does that look like between now? Like the playoffs, I'm looking at it now. Every round looks like it's going to be tough. 4 rounds, 3 months. How do you mentally start to get ready for that shit?
Just take it day by day. Just be great one day at a time and let tomorrow take care of itself.
Love it. He is Mr. Nugget, a.k.a. G. Appreciate you, man.
I mean, is Aaron Gordon snowboarding?
What?
I don't know.
I was like joking about like Colorado things, like, are you doing some of this Colorado stuff? And then I would.
I think the best way to introduce him as Mr. Nugget is to make him hate us.
Yeah, let's get him in trouble. Let's get him in
I'm
trouble.
just saying, hey man, I was just an interview. I'm just saying it was a hilarious week.
I love that how political he got. Hey,
It could've gone to
anyone on this
anybody.
team. It could have gone to anyone.
Yeah.
It could have gone to anyone.
But honestly, though, it is funny. But it also is like the vibe of the team, and I think it's why he likes
Yes.
it so much.
Yes.
Is it's like, yeah, man, I think it's underappreciated by the casual fan what a bad apple is like in a locker room, and how many teams have like 3, and so to have none. I mean, we'll get to it. There was one for a while there, but to have none now. I honestly think that's what he's talking about. I mean, think about it. He was in Orlando for a long time, and I'm not saying there were tons of bad apples there, but it just wasn't going anywhere.
Right.
You got people pulling in different directions and this or that. I just think he's right about that. It's funny, but I also think he is right. We just talked about all the candidates. There are a lot of candidates.
Definitely, man. I mean, this locker room is awesome. That was a great comment there a couple seconds ago. We need Kyle Speller to introduce Aaron Gordon as Mr. Nugget at the next home game.
How do we get him to do
So
that?
everybody should just tweet at Kyle Speller
Mr.
to
Nugget.
do that.
He's going to be like, what the hell is this?
I don't know. Maybe he's in on it.
That would be really cool to see. Any final thoughts on Aaron Gordon here?
No, man. Listen. Just quickly, coming into the season, I was positive this was Bones Hyland's.
We're going to talk about him next.
We are.
but yeah.
Okay. Well, so from that standpoint, Aaron Gordon has always been somebody that you look at, he was always in the conversation for very obvious reasons. But this is why we didn't just jump out and we just sort of let this thing play out, because this is
to.
you got to let this play out. We want to see, is this our guy? Is this really our guy? I mean, we love him. Does he love us? And I would think by that, fairly stilted interview, he loves us.
Dude, it jumped off the screen how much you think. I mean, my God. Almost hugged me, basically. During
But
this
truly,
interview.
he gets it. He gets what it is to make the connection with this fan base. It just feels right, and it feels good, man. It feels good to have this thing that we're all giving each other the wink about.
You see that comment? Someone says, I have to go soon. Can you just tell me who the vegan is so I'm not thinking about it all day?
We'll do that after the break.
Stay tuned. Guys, did you know that 50% of men have symptoms that get in the way of wanting or enjoying sex? Did you know that?
Yes.
50% of men. And so there's 4 of us on this panel.
I knew at least
That means 2 of
25%
us
of men thought this
fall into that category.
Just put me and D-Line on
Which
camera.
2? We'll leave that up to the viewers. But do you want a better sex life? If so, you're not alone. Roman is here to help. Roman is the digital health clinic for men, addressing a variety of sexual health needs and offering genuine medication that helps achieve and maintain a strong erection. Roman offers discreet wipes that help you last 4 times longer in bed. In men with low T, getting testosterone levels back to normal can help increase your libido Roman offers a testosterone test, which includes lab processing, and if it's appropriate for you, treatment for low testosterone. Roman's great because no waiting rooms, no hassle. It's a straightforward digital experience. You can do it from the comfort of your home. So to learn more about how you can achieve your personal sexual health goals, go to row.co. Row.co.
Not that I know.
Row.co. Do you have that bookmark? /DNVR. ORO.co/DNVR. Row.co/DNVR. Gets it up with Roman today. It's a great option. Also, DraftKings Sportsbook, guys, make sure to take advantage of the DraftKings Sportsbook NBA No Sweat Same Game Parlay. Put down a same game parlay pregame. Listen to us on the pregame show. We'll tell you what we're betting. If you don't hit that parlay, it's all good. You can get your money back if you bet like $5-10 on that no sweat same game parlay, and then just bet another parlay the next game. Try to get that money back there. It's a great promotion going on from DraftKings Sportsbook. I think every day they've got that going on for NBA games. Nuggets and Grizzlies tomorrow should be a good one. You can definitely use that no sweat same game parlay on that game. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Sign up with code DNVR. New customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, with code DNVR. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details.
I lied. Practice notes are after the next ad break. I apologize to the guy or gal waiting.
Oh,
I mean, we could probably just give it.
we
to
probably
him.
get this one
Yeah.
ripped.
Adam's enjoying
Practice.
this.
We really talking about practice today?
Do you want to spoil it?
You can spoil it.
I'll say it. Michael Malone has been not a vegan, but a pescatarian for 20 years, he said.
Not surprising.
Isn't that
He was
surprising?
asking us about our trip to Serbia, and we were talking about the food. And I was like, "Did you try the meat or whatever?" And he goes, "I haven't eaten meat in 20
Not
years."
a lot to eat in Serbia if you're not eating meat.
The reason why is even better. Makes him mad. Red meat makes him mad. So this is not Mad Malone.
We joked that this is the
Yeah.
calm Michael Malone.
Oh my.
Isn't that a little surprising to you that he's not a red meat eater? I just picture him eating like angry steak.
What, like raw, cold steaks?
Just to calm down.
Cold purple center on a cold plate?
Yeah, so I was surprised by that. Anyway, you have to go to work. Let's talk about Bones Hyland here. Let's bring down the show a little bit here. We did come in. I do feel like one of the things that's going on with the Jokic MVP narrative is everybody is trying to project forward something that is supposed to be about the present, like what's going on now. Well, what does now mean with this and that? This is precisely why we did not name Bones Hyland the Mr. Nugget in the offseason. It was like, wait, we got to see. We got to like wait and see how this plays out, because this is not a thing that you can project forward. You have to let it happen and then evaluate it as it goes. And at the time, I mean, D-Line, you in particular, I thought.
Yeah, I was
were like,
sure
come
of it.
on, what are we doing? We're overthinking it.
I was sure of it. Listen, I think he was our guy. He wanted to be part of this world. Like, I mean, he was like very forward as far as like the connection between us and them.
The vibes, all that stuff.
He made a massive connection to the city. Like all of these things was like, my God, like this guy, like he wants it. And
The dog park?
he did. Yeah, he would go be amongst the people. He would invite. Like, I mean, it was like, this is stupid. Like this guy's absolutely going to be Mr. Nugget. And like, man, another sad bummer angle of like that, the way that all went down. Like I would, but yeah, I mean, you know, I'm glad we didn't name him that. That would have been awkward.
It goes to show you, though, like, just like how many like layers and things there are to all of this. It's a silly award. It's a silly thing, but it really is like trials and tribulations are going to like actually show you a lot of this. And let's not kid ourselves. Aaron Gordon has gone through some of these. You know, he's had playoff series and playoff games and moments and stuff that were tough and tricky and this or that. But like he just keeps climbing in all capacity, like in all of the things that you just talked about, the pillars of this.
Yeah.
He just is like every year a little bit better.
Yeah.
In all of them.
The way that Warriors series started and ended, that was a different player that walked away from that series. And that was awesome, and a good example of him being tested. And then also, you know, without everyone in their proper roles, the fandom's relationship with him was tested. You know, some people were a little frustrated, but it all came out, you know, on the other side okay. Teamness, right? Teamness is a pillar of this, and unfortunately, that is where it fell apart for Bones. Some of the very things that made AG such a great fit for this award and this team from the get-go where that he was, now granted, he had a pretty nice role, but he was not going to complain about that at any point. And his goal has always been winning. I believe that from him as much as
I do too.
Anyone who's come through in these few years. So in so many ways, he has solidified his case. I thought he was Mr. Nugget back in the summer. And then since then, he's impressed me even more.
Right.
It's a no-brainer, really.
It really was a no-brainer.
It was a no-brainer. Yeah.
And it's funny to think about, I'm not going to put him on blast, but there's somebody that said, like, he's not tough, he's not mentally tough. When he signed his contract extension, I remember, like, championship teams don't sign players of Aaron Gordon's caliber for $20 million a year. His contract now looks like a discount because of how perfectly he is and how much how important he is. And while I thought at the time those comments were pretty absurd, they at least were like within the realm possible. If somebody came out with an Aaron Gordon's not worth his contract take now, it would be like, there's not two sides of this story, dude. Like, come on, man.
Well, yeah, I mean, you have to think about Aaron Gordon before he got to Denver. He was looked at as empty stats, bad team. This guy isn't a winner. Does he really care about like playing winning basketball? Right. He was on the Magic, man. Nobody watched him. Nobody really knew anything about him. They just looked at him in the context of the team he was on and the stats he was putting up,
included.
And he has totally remade the entire image that everybody has of him as a player. And he's pretty much rewritten the narrative on his career over the time that he's been in Denver. Now he's a winner. Now he's a good stats, good team guy. Now he's the guy who's willing to play any role to win. He's fine scoring 5 or 25 points.
Right.
So it's been an awesome evolution for him in Denver. And I'm like, I don't really get happy for NBA players that often, but I'm happy that Aaron Gordon has like found himself and the best version of his basketball self in Denver.
But this is why sports are cool. Like you laugh about this, about feeling happy, but I'm actually like, this is the point of sports. They're so dumb, they're so silly, but it's good to feel these things. And this is why the Mr. Nugget Award is cool. Is it's cool to have this, like, we're all happy. Somebody I know replied to the tweet we put out with the announcement that was like, is it weird that this makes me emotional? No, it's actually cool as hell. That's why it's such a cool
And
award.
Aaron Gordon is the type of guy who is real and down to earth that you can allow yourself to feel good for.
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of guys aren't like that.
Future Mr. Nuggets. Are there any Mr. Nuggets in training?
Oh, it's a great question.
Bro, we can't even go. I mean, we just named it. We're trying to unseat it. What are we doing?
The hope.
I'm just saying like of like, you know.
Look, the hope is that it's AJ for a long time, but I think all
Definitely.
the guys we talked about, like the longer KCP is here, the more he's going to fit that, I think.
Well, what's also interesting is you got Aaron Gordon in the Gary Harris trade, one Mr. Nugget for another. KCP came back in the Monte Morris trade.
Oh, wow. Wow. Wind
Just
is dealing.
saying.
Wind
Just
is
putting that
dealing.
out there.
Look at it.
I also want to just circle back to the. I like how MPJ. Like, you definitely shouldn't pay your guys too early. MPJ is not a max player. Aaron Gordon was overpaid. And they extended KCP. Okay, but is not the best starting lineup in basketball locked up for multiple years? Hey, so I'm going to go JJ Redick. What the fuck are we talking about?
There are so many of these that if the Nuggets get a championship, it's going to be oh my God,
insufferable.
it's going to be hilarious. You're so right about that one. That is great. That's a lot of money for that player.
Like, yeah, you give money to players. That's
what happens.
That's the thing.
To make the best team,
That's how
it's
you
kind
do
of
it.
expensive.
That's how you do it.
Let's talk about practice real quick, Harrison, because it wasn't the most meat rich, you know, in terms of content. We talked about Michael Malone. By the way, we could always judge the Nuggets and how they're doing by Michael Malone's mood, and his mood was an 11 out of 10 today. It was so good. His mood was so good today. They had a team meeting they had to get to, or a team event they had to get to immediately after. Michael Malone sat and chatted for 10 minutes afterward. Usually they give you the hard line, like, one more question, guys, we're moving it, keep it moving. He took that one, he took another one, then he sat there, then he walked away, then he walked back over.
I know. It was almost like he was going to tell us about another leak in the roof. It was like, what's he going to tell us here?
Wind's on fire.
Michael Malone might have been this relaxed before, but he's never been more relaxed than he was today.
Yeah. Hey, man, it's nice being 5 games up on the number 2 seed in the West.
Must be.
It's got to be nice. Well, like I said, that is the first note from practice. The leak has been fixed.
That's
the Nuggets
so great to hear.
Got a full court practice in. They were able to use all the hoops, all the areas of the floor. So that was good. That was great to see. The other big note I have, Zeke Nnaji was practicing. Zeke Nnaji looked like he went through most of practice
Look at
today.
that, baby. Holy smokes.
I have no idea where he fits into the rotation. I don't think he's in the rotation, but he seems like he's back. So, yeah.
He was at least participating in drills, and he looked hell. He didn't have any bandage. Like he didn't.
He
there
looked
wasn't
good.
anything going on.
He
so.
looked good. Had a slightly new look with the facial hair.
He's got a
Eric.
goatee going.
Yeah. Thought of you when I saw that.
I like that. I like
Yeah.
what I'm hearing. That's like when you become like an evil version of yourself.
Yeah, Zeke is so ripped, man. Like all these guys are ripped in person or whatever.
Oh,
but
he's
Zeke has
shredded.
like zero body fat
Yeah.
on him. It's like
Yeah.
really, he is so lean.
He's really tall too. I mean, it sounds obvious, but you see, he's one of the guys that jumps in person. He's just huge.
Yeah. The other note I have is Malone was talking about the bench, and he had 2 separate conversations with 2 different guys on the second unit, Reggie Jackson and Thomas Bryant, over the last couple of days. His message to Reggie Jackson was, dude, stop trying to keep everybody happy. Be yourself. Be Reggie Jackson. That was before the Houston game. And then, I thought Reggie Jackson came out and played really well against the Rockets. And then his other conversation he said was with Thomas Bryant. And his message to Thomas Bryant was,
I love this.
dude, chill, relax, take a deep breath. You're here for a reason. You're trying so hard. You're playing with so much effort. Just calm down.
I think that's word for word what D-Line said in the winners lounge.
That was me, actually.
was it? Was it Wayne?
It was me.
Yeah, but it's true. I mean, the guy's been pressing clearly. Like, that's good to know. Like, that's other people are seeing that because we just need, come on, bro. Chill out, man. Just make some baskets. Just playing basketball here.
Yeah. Just run the floor, dunk the ball.
Look at that 15 fella. He
Don't
seems
foul
stressed
too
to you.
much.
For real.
Yeah. Just take some notes from that.
I
guy.
really hope we get some good Thomas Bryant games coming up, man. I really do.
Yeah.
The Nuggets will be it'll be a more fun last 20 games, and then obviously whatever in the playoffs if he's settled and like a positive contributor. Maybe he's Mr. Nugget.
I don't think so.
All right, let's take one last break here. On the other side, I want to quickly run through the schedule from here on out and figure out how many games we're winning.
Let's go.
Guys, check out the Game Time app. Join over 15 million people who are using the Game Time app.
Oh, you missed the best detail. This reminded me. Jokic got compared to 3 different people/things.
I mean,
today.
I wasn't going to bring that up. But that's the best detail?
That's the worst detail. Michael Malone
Go for
separately compared Jokic to Duke, the Yankees, and Bruce Springsteen.
What? I thought that I didn't read the whole quote.
There's
I
a
thought he was
reason
talking
I
about-
didn't bring this up.
I thought he was saying that he gets tired of, or people get tired of him kicking their asses.
He did.
Is
Yeah.
Bruce
Later
Springsteen? Who's Bruce Springsteen?
I was
Bruce
trying to
kicking
take
the
a
ass off?
day off from the MVP conversation here.
Bruce Springsteen is playing at Ball Arena tonight, hence the Game Time tie-in. You can buy tickets to Bruce Springsteen on the Game Time app should you want to.
Yep.
Michael Malone, who's from New York, is unsurprisingly huge Bruce
You guys have no
Springsteen.
idea how close we were to never getting out of that building. There were 2 follow-up questions about Bruce. I was like, guys, stop.
Anyway, then he was like, Jokic. He's like, Jokic.
Yeah.
Great.
Oh, man. Guys, the Game Time app, you can get tickets to Bruce Springsteen. You can get tickets to Nuggets games, concert shows, sporting events, whatever you want. Use our link. That's very important. Use our specific link in the description of this show to buy tickets on the Game Time app. They've got these great last-minute price drops. So make sure to check that out. Download the Game Time app. Use our link. Also got to throw out a DraftKings pick of the week. As you guys know, I'm on a bit of a heater.
I didn't know that.
Let's
That's
go to
Let me write that
Did you know that?
the DraftKings app.
Did you know
He's
Vogt
gonna
one time
hit
hit a
this.
10 leg parlay?
No, he did.
He's gonna hit this. Whatever thing he's pulling right now, he's gonna hit.
Nuggets are minus 5.5 against the Memphis Grizzlies tomorrow. I will take the Nuggets minus 5.5.
Wow, I love it.
DraftKings pick of the week.
Feels
Nuggets
great
are
about
home. Grizzlies have some distractions going on. I'll take the Nuggets minus 5.5. DraftKings pick of the week.
All right,
Love it.
All right, guys. Final segment here. Let's do this very quickly. We'll go through a panel. Tell me win, loss. Let's figure out. There's 20 games left. Let's see how many. Will you keep track of this?
What do we have? 40? How many wins do we currently have? 45?
44.
44.
Harrison, you keep track of this just to keep track of the losses. I think that'll be easier to track.
Okay.
Tomorrow night against Memphis.
win.
Gotta go with the DraftKings pick of the week.
Yeah,
on
what
this
am I
one.
gonna-
I mean,
are
what
you
am I
win
to
again?
do?
All right, we're calling it
He's
a
on a
win.
heater.
Monday, you've got Toronto coming in. They've always played Denver tough.
At home, win.
That's a win.
That's a win.
You got Chicago Bulls coming in, guys. That's a tough one. That's
At
a real
home,
toughie.
win.
That's
At
a
home?
win.
That's
All
a
right,
win.
at San Antonio,
They
That's a
do
win.
not want to win. They would be devastated if they
Yeah.
win that game. That's going to be a win.
they come back home and they play this new look Brooklyn team.
That's a win.
Man, we have a win streak going on in your guys'
Yeah.
head?
At
I would
home,
say
at
so
home.
far the Brooklyn one.
Brooklyn won at home.
But it's at home.
Oh wait, it's at home. You're right.
Brooklyn
Stop. I'm sorry. I take it back. Don't yell at me.
at Toronto.
You think Brooklyn's going to be able to score with the Nuggets?
At
No,
Toronto?
I don't.
Are any of these back-to-backs?
No, I'll tell you when they are. At Toronto,
At Toronto, I mean, that's not a slam dunk, but you got to think the way the Nuggets have been playing, that feels like a dub.
Murray playing at his own home. His old home. Toronto.
That's a dub.
all right. At Detroit,
That's a dub.
That's a dub.
at New York,
This might be the one.
it's a loss.
That's a loss, yeah.
This might be
Madison
the
Square
one.
Garden. They're playing well. At Brooklyn, the second night of a back-to-back. Although it's the same city.
They
though.
have
Same
trouble with
city.
this East Coast swing.
Yeah.
They have trouble with this
Also,
East Coast
both
swing.
those games are in the afternoon. They're both early starts.
Those could
That's weird.
be 2 losses.
It
Those
could be.
two.
Yeah. I
All
wouldn't
right,
be upset.
At
about it.
Washington,
That's a win.
That's a win.
then home versus Milwaukee.
That's a win.
Milwaukee hasn't lost for 2 months.
Milwaukee's on a back-to-back.
They are on a back-to-back. So that's a win. Philadelphia at home.
That's a win.
Oh, I love
There's
that.
no
for
way
win.
Embiid's playing in that game either.
New Orleans at home.
That's a win.
At Phoenix, second night of a back-to-back.
That's a loss.
That's a loss.
Golden State at home.
That's a win.
That's a win.
That's a win.
At Rockets.
That's a win.
That's a win.
At Phoenix, third to last game of the year.
That's
Ooh, that
a
could be a
loss.
loss. That's probably an L.
At Utah, second to last game of the year. That's a loss. I'm telling you right now, Denver's losing this one on purpose.
Could
That's
be.
the standings manipulator.
Knock the Lakers out
Yeah.
of the play-in game. And then home versus Sacramento, second night of a back-to-back, last game of the year. Sacramento
Loss.
very likely
It
has
could be.
more to
It
play
could
for
be a
than
loss.
Denver.
They could go into
That's
the.
a
They
loss.
could go.
So we go 3 losses to end the year. All right, what did we go?
We had 5 losses total.
There's no
so
way.
14 and 5.
There's
I mean, there's a way.
absolute-
There
What
is
do
a
you
way.
mean there's no way?
There's
There is a
definitely
way.
a way they go
There's
14
definitely
and
a way.
14 and 5? That's
Yeah,
like par
they
for
could
the
go 14
course.
5.
That would mean the best record in Denver Nuggets history,
How many wins would that be?
58.
That's my
58.
season. By the way,
Break
my
it by one. I
preseason
mean,
That's
that's
exactly what I.
perfect.
That's exactly what I predicted.
Let's
Hit
just
that
break
outro
it by
music,
1.
Cal.
Let's not push too hard. Break the wins record by 1.
We have super chats. Let's race through these real quick.
I think it's on the table.
Billsine Ball. I think the Mr. Nugget before Gary was Corey Brewer.
We'd have to. What? Maybe over the
Yeah,
summer
that's
we'll go
another
back.
show.
We'll go
Off-season
back
show.
and do these.
It's a good
yeah.
suggestion.
But
Bembiaz. Turkish. What? Lira sucks. Don't be surprised by the number. Mr. Nugget. All nuggets are good. Bacchus and Shanker. Illegal Pete's. Athletic Greens. DNVR rules. Eric is funny, and the new shirt is awesome.
who is the Mr. Nugget of our sponsors?
Is this the first shout out to Bacchus and
That-
Shaker and Super?
Did
That-
you
that
just
was-
pay us?
That was
to-
that was
to-
a
to
super
see
chat
Henry?
generated by Chat GPI. Dude.
Yeah, that's either Bacchus or Shanker.
Form a super chat about the NBA show.
Connor says, being small market is nice because it means AG could go out to Serbia and not be crowded by the media. You can't do that in LA, New York City. Authentic.
There you go.
And Shane
Authentico.
Larkin, lifelong Iowa State fan here, started following the Nugs and DNVR because of Monte.
Oh,
My
man!
favorite Mr. Cyclone right there. My favorite all-time Cyclone.
Nice.
And I'm in for the long
Man,
haul.
that is
Let's
the
go.
greatest thing I've ever heard. What a great way to get us out. Nuggets back in action tomorrow. Can't wait for it. Nuggets Grizzlies. We'll be here in the pregame lounge. We'll see you then.
Salute to AG, Mr. Nugget.